So in this video, we're going to talk about covalent bonds and how to name them. So your topic is covalent bonds. Your goal is I can name and write covalent bonds. So first, you need to know that covalent bonds are chemical bonds that only contain non-metal elements. They share electrons. So we just finished going over ionic bonds. Ionic bonds has one metal and one non-metal, and they gain or lose electrons. Well, here covalent bonds are just nonmetals. They don't have any metals at all, and they share their electrons instead of gaining or losing them. You also need to know a compound is any substance composed of two or more different elements, and a molecule is any substance composed of two or more atoms covalently bonded. So molecules are specific to covalent bonds, whereas compounds can be anything. So properties of covalent compounds that you need to know: they have generally low melting and boiling points. They are soft and flexible. They tend to be flammable, and they don't conduct electricity. They also don't typically dissolve in water. The first type of covalent bond we need to talk about are diatomic elements. These are gases that exist as diatomic molecules. And the 7 elements that are diatomic is hydrogen, fluorine, nitrogen, oxygen, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So basically, these 2 elements, if they are ever by themselves, not bonded with any other element, they will be in pairs. That's why if you ever have a tank of oxygen, it's not just O, or it's not just oxygen, it's O2. And that's because it's diatomic, so when it's just oxygen, it likes to bond with itself, so there's 2, they come in pairs. Now to name these, it's just the element's name. Like H2 is just hydrogen, F2 is just fluorine, N2 you would just name nitrogen, so on and so forth for all of those. So how you name covalent compounds. First, we know it's 2 nonmetals. So that's how you know you need to name them like this if it's 2 nonmetals. First, you name each element. In the last element in IDE, just like we've done so far. And then you add prefixes to show more than one atom. Here are the following prefixes. We will typically not have anything more than 5, but I did give you the prefixes for 1 through 10, but I'll just have you needing to write down the first 5. So the prefix for 1 is mon, 2 is di, 3 is tri, 4 is tetra, 5 is penta, 6 is hexa, 7 is hepta, 8 is octa, 9 is nona, and 10 is deca. These are very similar prefixes that you may have seen in math, talking about like octagons has 8 sides or hexagons have 6 sides. So these are fairly similar, and they will be used when we name these compounds. So for example, we have P2O5. So first we need to write the element. So P is phosphorus. And then the second element always has to end in IDE, and that's oxygen, so that would be oxide. Now we need to add prefixes if there's more than one in this first one. So here we have 2. If we look at our prefix page, 2 is di. So that would be diphosphorus. And then there are 5 O's, 5 is penta, so you would put penta in the beginning, so pentaoxide. All right, so let's do the other one. So if you want to do the prefixes as you go instead of typing out the element like we did up top, that's fine. So there's 2 chlorines. We know the prefix for 2 is di. We know Cl is chlorine, so we'll put that in. And then you have O3. Well, the prefix for 3, if you look at that list, is tri. Tri, and then oxygen, it has to end in "ide," so it'll be trioxide. Now, if they give you the name, here's how you write the compound. So first you see if there's a prefix. Well, here there is. There's a prefix for di. So whatever element you have, you know you have 2 because the prefix di is for 2. So nitrogen is the element right there. So we'll put N2. And then mon is the prefix for 1. And the element you're talking about is iodide, which is I. And then there's only 1. You can put the number 1 if you want to, or you can just leave it. I will leave that up to you. So this second example, tri is the prefix for 3, and then sulfur is S. So you would put S3. And then penta is the prefix for 5, and chloride is chlorine, so we will put Cl. And then 5 is for penta. So that is how you name covalent compounds. In your digital notebook for this section, the first half I give you the name, so you'll need to write down the compound. And then the second one I give you the compound, and you'll have to write out the name. So remember, for these, you will just use those prefixes. If there's no prefix, then that is 1. So if you have any questions on how to do this, let me know, and I'll be happy to help.